You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
I'm Toni Heath.
This is the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon.
Yeah, it is.
Woohoo! I'm just very excited.
Okay, cool.
Just very excited to be here with you.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's great.
I feel like it doesn't happen near enough.
I feel like it happens constantly.
You may be right, but that's still not enough for me.
Okay.
I love you.
All of that before the theme song?
Oh, right. Play the theme song. Today, we're going to be talking about the second episode of the third season of Doctor Who, The Shakespeare Code, which aired on April 7th, 2007. True facts!
Okay.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's been a good day. We went hiking.
We did go hiking.
We went to the Waffle House.
That was smart of us.
We took
It
a
was smart
big
of us.
old nap
It was smart of us to go hiking and then go directly to the Waffle House afterwards.
and eat tons of greasy food.
Yeah.
And you got a piece of chocolate pie.
I did get a piece of chocolate pie because I had done such a good job on my hike.
Yeah.
I deserved it.
I feel like they cancel each other out.
I'm not keeping score.
Me either. But if I was, I'd be winning.
Okay.
All right. We got anything else we need to talk about up top?
No, I don't want to talk about anything other than Doctor Who.
Okay. Then let's do it. Let's talk about Doctor Who. So we're going to talk about the Shakespeare Code, which I think is a terrible title because it's playing off the Da Vinci Code and it has absolutely nothing to do with that.
I guess the words he says are a code. Are a type of code.
I guess. That does make sense.
Like the words are like coding.
Yeah. The original title for this was Love's Labour's Won, which...
Better title.
Yeah. My title for it is Love's Labour's 2. Love's Labour's 1.
That's entirely too silly.
Or should it be Love's Labour's Lost 2? Love's Labour's 1?
There you go. That's the one.
Okay. Love's Labour's 1. I'm not laughing at myself. I'm laughing at the response you gave to that.
That took me out. I'm unwell. Okay, and what happens?
Okay, I wrote a summary. This may be my shortest summary yet. I think it might even literally be 2 sentences. A trio of alien witches cast a spell on William Let me start over.
No, finish it.
No, I got junk in my mouth. I took a nap.
William Shakespeare.
Hey, Love's Labour's 1.
By William Shakespeare.
A trio of alien witches cast a spell on William Shakespeare to make him write an ending to his newest play that will free their imprisoned race to cause havoc and mayhem on the world. The Doctor and Martha Jones arrive and help save the day by quoting Harry Potter.
Surely more things happen than just that.
Yeah, but that's the gist of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
All right, so what do you want to... I think the first thing we need to get out of the way is the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
First off...
J.K. Rowling is a turf.
J.K. Rowling is a turf, as is the writer of this episode, Gareth Roberts. He even wrote a book about it, about how he's a turf. I don't think he used those words, but you know. And with that in mind, this episode has things in it that make that feel obvious. Not necessarily a J.K. Rowling thing. Nobody knew at the time.
Yeah. This is the kind of thing that it's so sad to lose in retrospect. Like, I remember watching this episode and then, like, the bit where the Doctor's like, oh, wait until you read, like...
Book 7
was, like, touching to me. It was exciting.
He's a nerd just like us.
Just like me! He's just like me! And now it's just another reminder of some real bullshit in the world.
The other things that pop out to me due to this realization is, one, the line about men dressed as women.
Yeah.
The second bit would be when the Shakespeare is listing off all the different terms for black people, and then the doctor says something about political correctness gone mad.
It's political correctness gone mad.
Which sounds like something a horrible person would write or say. There's also another scene that I don't think is too great, but it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's just dumb white person.
So they like just walk around and act like
you
own the place.
Yeah, I'm sure that why don't all people of color do
Why
that?
haven't we just tried that?
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, we should have thought it. We should have thought of this sooner.
It's just them trying to get around the fact of we want to have this fun episode without racism being a problem.
But here's the thing. I think that is correct. I mean, sometimes that is correct. Sometimes there are historicals where you want to, like, talk about things. Sometimes you just want to have a fun adventure. Like, I think it would suck if we had to, like, make racism the main character anytime we featured a person of color in the cast.
And we've had to do it. I mean, they have done it a few times since, so...
Yeah, I would also say, I mean, the like, going too far with that, right, is, like, never acknowledging or talking about it, which is also bad.
I'm thinking specifically of that time that 12 punched a racist in the face.
I mean, that ruled.
Yeah. And then you got, like, 13... This isn't...
Well, you also have, like, Dot and Bubble.
Yeah, which that's the future. And then, like, you also have, like, you know, this isn't racism, but it is, like, when the doctor became a woman, like, there was stuff with that, like, in the Witchfinders episode as well. There's, like, dangers of being not a non-white man in the past, so...
Yeah.
So they have done it. But also, it is sometimes fun to just have a little romp.
Yes.
Do you think it would have been better if they hadn't have done that little hand wave, or...
I think specifically the way that it's done... With, like, one character being like, hey, what about racism? And having, like, a one character be like, I find you should just not worry about racism and everything will be fine.
I'm not even human.
Like, the hand wave, I think, is part of what makes it worse. It's the kind of thing of, like, when people talk about fantasy, right? And it's like, I don't want every story about, put this back kind of in my lane a little bit, since I'm outside of it and uncomfortable. I don't want every story about a queer person to be about how hard it is to be a queer person.
Right.
Like, I mean, so, like, there should be some stories, right? That's just, like, the queer princess has a sword and meets a wizard. Like,
and befriends a dragon.
And, yes. I mean, if it's a really good book, then it fucks the dragon. But...
All right. You heard it here first. Probably not. It's been said many times.
So yeah, I feel like, I mean, when you have a show like Doctor Who that is a lot of different things.
Yeah. It's
interesting where you find places for, this is our very special racism episode, and this one isn't. And how do you, like, balance those things?
We'll say it isn't.
That is to say, I would like to criticize the way that kind of lampshaded line is without criticizing the idea of...
having a fun romp?
Yes.
It is interesting that they do kind of hand wave that away because they want to have a fun romp. But there is a decent chunk of this episode that is not a fun romp when they're in the asylum.
That's true, yeah.
Where they are like, this is bad.
This is morally not okay.
Yeah.
Which is also very interesting if you think about who wrote it. I think a lot of the times when you talk about, like, historical atrocities, people will be like, well, we just didn't know.
Right.
And so you can't judge the people of the past by, like, today's standards. That is not what that scene is about. I mean, it's very much a, like, yeah, that was not okay.
Yeah. It's not cool to just lock people away and torture them, basically.
Yeah.
For having mental health issues.
I think it's almost interesting to see a scene that's basically, like, angry about a social justice issue.
Right. So, okay, there's one other thing I don't like about this episode that doesn't have anything to do with, you know,
right, big
issues. This is specifically an issue about Doctor Who. This really starts the unrequited love thing.
Ugh, yeah. It's the beginning of this, unrequited love dynamic between Martha and the Doctor.
Yeah, and I did read a thing that made me like it a little bit, but I still don't super like it.
What's that?
It's that we kind of needed something to pull us away from. It's not a romance. The show's not a romance. So this kind of like says we can do other things than just the Doctor and his love interest. This is kind of a way to get out of that, because that's all people knew for a whole 2 seasons.
I guess. I don't.
But,
could you not just get out of it by
not having
getting out of it?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand the hand holding necessary here.
Yeah, I don't either. I will say it could have been worse, because the scene where they have to share a bed, which is a fanfic thing if I've ever heard of.
There was only one bed?
Yeah. It wasn't going to be worse because the Doctor in the original script was just going to strip down to his undies and get in the bed and be like, come on, and still be oblivious.
That is so uncomfortable.
That is, yeah. And then, like, the producers and David Tennant were both like, nah.
Nice.
I don't think that, no, we're not doing that. I will say, she is selling the hell out of it, though. Just her being in bed and they're like looking at each other. I feel so bad for her.
You feel that pining?
Yeah, it hurts my heart. It's relatable is all I'll say. It's really only that one scene in that bedroom where he keeps talking about Rose.
I think that is also the other thing. I don't know if it would drive me as crazy if the Doctor wasn't like constantly directly comparing them.
Right. If he was just like, oh no, I'm not into you.
Yes.
But instead it's, you're not Rose, which is like,
okay, stop putting that on
right.
Stop putting that on this person who's a whole human being.
And doesn't even know who the hell Rose is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the things. All right, so let's talk about fun things.
Yeah. Shakespeare
himself.
Fun.
Not your typical Shakespeare. He's a bit of a pop star. I love it.
I kind of like it.
I love it. Shut your big fat mouths. That's his first line, right?
Yeah.
Because you're waiting for some wonderful words from the bard, and he's just like,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah. It's so funny. And he's just he is like eating the attention from the audience.
Yeah. And
also, the guy playing him does the best faces.
I think, what does he have to pass out like twice? Is he drugged at some point?
He's under that like hypnotic spell where he's writing the play.
Yes.
And he's just got this like goofy looking face. It's very good. It's very funny. I didn't realize at the time, but I had seen him. Well, not before. I saw him after I watched this episode the first time. But before we watched it this time. He's in a movie written by Doctor Who writer Jamie Matheson. He's in a movie called Frequently Asked Questions about time travel, which I really recommend. It's really good. And he's in it, and he's really funny. And I did not connect that they were the same guy. But now it makes sense, because he's probably the funniest part of the movie. And he's the funniest part of this episode.
Yeah.
And bisexual.
Before that joke ever even is made, he has a real bisexual energy.
He does. He's just very flirty in general.
That's what it is, yeah.
And I am a sucker. I like the running gag. The Doctor quoting Shakespeare, and he's like, I'm going to take that. And then the one time that Shakespeare does say something, to be or not to be, and he's like, I don't know about that. It sounds too pretentious. And then the one time he says something, he's like, oh, you can't take that. That's not
someone
yours.
Else's.
And then the final one is, he says something, he's like, hey, I already wrote that. That's already mine. Well, I think that was once more into the breach.
And I already said on the watch along.
Yeah.
David Tennant goes on to do this again in the future.
In Good Omens?
In Good Omens. They hit the same beat.
What's the beat in Good Omens? Remind me.
I mean, Crowley says something and then Shakespeare's like, I like that. Yeah.
Writes it down. There's also all the Shakespeare gags about like, don't rub that spot, you'll go bald, because Shakespeare's bald. He hurts his neck and he gets this little
neck brace.
Yeah, the little neck brace, which is the big rough thing.
There's a part of me that infuriates, and there's a part of me that's delighted by that.
There's probably a bunch I didn't even catch. I mean, obviously the witches are setting up Macbeth. But I'm sure there's probably other stuff too. I think there's something in the asylum scene. And also, I apologize if you hear ruffling. I've got a stack of boxes over here, and the cat's in it.
This is a different...
Oh my god, get out of there! You're gonna suffocate, you doofus!
Did you rescue her?
Yeah. She was wrapped up in bubble wrap.
Why you do this?
What did you think of the witches?
They're all right, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're fun.
I forgot how horny this episode is.
I have a quibble, which is that one of them should be the mother. There's 3 of them and 2 of them are old, and one of them is young. Well, it seems like that one switches back and forth. But
I think they all can.
But they should... If you're... She's found something else to sit on.
Hey, get off that. It's a poster that fell down. Having cats in a podcast don't go together.
Something that irks me about having 3 witches and having the crone and the maiden.
And then another crone.
And then another crone. That's not the trope. That's not how it works.
You can be a mother and a crone.
I
Thank
do
you.
love their names. What are their name? Their name is like Doomfinger.
Doomfinger.
And what's the other one?
That's the only one I remember is Doomfinger because I laughed every time.
Doomfinger touches you, you die.
I can look it up real quick.
It was something. It was blood something.
Blood Tide.
Blood Tide. That rules. Doomfinger. That rules. What's the young one?
Lilith.
That okay. I understand what you're referencing.
You don't like that one as much though.
Is Lilith as cool as Blood Tide? No.
I guess not. And they're trying to free the rest of their imprisoned sisters, who are just big CGI creatures.
I kind of like their stupid faces.
Do they look like Dementors?
Oh, do they?
Is that what that's about?
Maybe.
They're kind of like in shrouds and they float around. Apparently this was the biggest CGI episode of the season because of that and the times that like there's like establishing shots of the globe and everything.
Oh, the crowd shots. I was like, that surprises me because the witches CGI doesn't look that expensive.
Well, not even just like the crowds, but like when you see there's like a panning shot over the top of the globe,
mm-hmm.
and there's like people running out of it. I'm pretty sure that's all CG. But yeah, for the crowds, they only had like 30 to 50 extras, and they just put them in groups on green screens and then spliced it all together. They even had like built like the little I don't know what you call them, the balconies.
Mm-hmm.
They like built those and green screened them and moved them around and filled them up. Which, that's interesting, because that's how they still do it. Like, I was in I, Tonya.
Yeah.
I was a background actor on I, Tonya. And for all the roller rink scenes. Roller rink? That's not right. Ice rink.
Ice rink.
All the ice rink scenes, they filmed all of them in the same place, and they we had
moving you to different seats.
Yeah, there wasn't that many of us. And they just moved us to, like, where the camera was. That's how they do it.
Movie magic.
Saving money. It's where this episode is like, kind of down on sequels. And it does, to me, kind of feel like a sequel to The Unquiet Dead, in a way. Honestly, because I get the two of them mixed up a lot. I mean, you got the doctor meeting a historical figure, and there's gags about it. Shakespeare and Mark Twain. You just stopped. Oh, sorry, it's Francis Bacon.
I don't know what I was going to say.
Did I kill you with Mark Twain?
Yeah. I know you know it's not Mark Twain.
I know, and for the life of me, I cannot remember who it is.
If I ever write an episode of Doctor Who, they're going to meet Mark Twain now.
Oh, who is
shit
it?
About Mark Twain.
Charles Dickens.
Yes.
Same guy.
You get Shakespeare, Mark Twain, and Charles Dickens confused.
No, it's that I get the Shakespeare and the Unquiet Dead episode mixed up. Like
okay.
the ideas.
Okay.
Which is like, I mean, it's Charles Dickens and ghosts, and this is Shakespeare and witches. They're kind of similar vibes, and
how come you don't get it confused with the Unicorn and the Wasp? Or
do you know who wrote that?
Who?
Guy who wrote this episode.
Oh, he's got shtick, baby.
Yeah, I mean, because that one's got Donna in it.
How come? What about the other time that they do it?
Oh, they did it in Classic Who, but they did it really badly when they had what's his face. This was it H.G. Wells. It was terrible. Like, it was a big twist reveal at the end, and it's like, that doesn't even make sense. That's a really bad H.G. Wells. Have they done it any other time? Hitler.
What? What do you mean Hitler?
Hitler's the one that they went and visited and had a romp with.
How is that at all related to the conversation we're having now?
Doctor Who episodes. with famous historical people.
No, we're specifically talking about
Creative people?
authors.
Authors.
And you said, okay, there's somebody already who's like, he did write a book. You shut the fuck up.
I couldn't remember any other historical characters who've been on Doctor Who. I'm sure there have been.
Any?
Yeah. Or writers.
Okay.
It seemed like you had a specific one in mind, but couldn't remember it. Oh man, do you think we'll get to the point someday where it's like Douglas Adams or something?
Aww. Maybe. You think they'll ever have an episode where you meet a historical person and you're like, whoa, that guy's a racist. This is awkward.
Yeah.
I forgot this guy got canceled.
Oh, they met Mary Shelley.
Mary Shelley, that is the other one. Thank you.
You're welcome. That was pretty good. I've got nothing else to say about this episode, do you?
Nah. I mean, I feel like, here's the thing. I guess I have something to say, because I feel like I spent a lot of times on, like, my criticisms of it. It's alright.
Yeah, it's fun. There's some good jokes.
Yeah.
You want to go to...
In a simpler time, I would have been like, yeah, that one's pretty good.
Well, I'll save it for final thoughts.
Yeah.
You want to take a break?
Let's do it.
All right, let's listen to this ad. Why don't you?
For over 200 episodes, the 42 Cast has brought you interviews, topics, and reviews that are unequaled anywhere on the internet. And that's not going to change. That's right. If you want to listen to a bunch of geeks talk about a random geeky topic and have a lot of fun doing so, then the 42 Cast is the show for you. It's your ultimate answer to fandom, geekiness, and everything. You can only find all this awesome as part of the ESO network.
And we're back. Tony, do you know what time it is?
I do.
Is it time to get the cat out of these fucking boxes?
Behind you, my love. Isn't she? Yes, she is. Yeah. She's so silly.
Okay, but what time is it?
Oh, it's time for final thoughts.
Tony, what are your final thoughts?
I got a kitten.
That's your final thoughts? Please get closer to the mic. Not the cat.
Yeah, no, I think I kind of already said them, which is that all things considered, this episode is all right. I don't have any particularly strong feelings. I'm excited about more Martha Jones.
I agree. I remember the first time I watched this, I really liked it. And this time around, it was just kind of an okay episode. I remember it being a lot more fun. And it's still pretty fun, but it's not like... I remember it like being like really, really good.
Here's the thing. I do think that part of the like fondness that like on the first watch through that I had for this episode was very wrapped up in like, Doctor Who is talking about Harry Potter. My two nerd things are happening at once. And now in retrospect, that is much less fun.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's your curse by knowledge. Which is even true of another the Martha Jones unrequited love aspect of it. The first time I watched it, it probably didn't bother me as bad because I didn't know where it was going.
Yeah.
Now I know it kind of sucks. On the second go through, it's not as fun, but it's still all right.
Solid.
Again, the guy playing Shakespeare is giving it a fantastic performance. Oh, and also the only two actors that we really spend any time with are both really funny. I really like when Shakespeare tries to stop the play and he gets knocked out.
The one guy
just doing a little dance.
I'm so glad you talked about that. That would have been a crime to have left that out.
I can't wait to make a joke for that.
That's a highlight of the episode.
He's doing like a little...
He does what you could only describe as a jig. Yeah.
It's a real like Oompa Loompa kind of dance. I love it. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Anything we need to plug?
If you want to follow me on Blue Sky, I am Forward Power. Forward Power is FWDPWR Forward Power at Blue Sky.
I'm Minty Pineapple everywhere. Blue Sky. Threads. I don't use Threads.
I'm Forward Power on Threads. I don't even think I have the app on my phone.
I just keep getting notifications for it. Like, so-and-so posted the thread. I'm like,
do.
I don't even know who this person is.
And I'm like, what's Thread? Because I think at some point Instagram was just like, you have Threads now. And I was like, okay.
I don't want it. I didn't ask for it.
And then it constantly gives me notifications. Like, here's what the people you follow on Threads are saying. And I'm like, I don't think I do that.
And we're Watch Your Ass on Blue Sky as well. So if you want to follow the podcast.
We are over on Blue Sky now.
I also want to say that it's either out or coming out. We guested on an episode of It's Time to Rewind, a time loop podcast.
That was very fun.
We talked about the first loop of Eva the Daleks, the 13th Doctor, not Christmas, New Year's special.
Can I just say, publicly, on mic, that I was very stressed about it. Because I was like, I'm afraid I'm going to have a hard time talking about just the loop. And you were like, just do it. I don't understand why you think it's hard. And then we did the episode, and I feel like you talked about the stuff not in the loop like a lot.
Not a lot.
Like a lot.
The only thing I talked about was the thing Dan did that I didn't like.
We can't listen.
Okay, but
we can't do spoilers for this other podcast. But I do want you all to like listen to it and be like, no, Toni was right. Joe's talking about other loops, and you were right to be stressed out about it.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure I only did it when Bubba Wheat said, is there anything you want to talk about the episode as a whole?
All right, okay.
Could be wrong.
I don't think so.
I could be wrong. You listen, you be the judge. So it's time to rewind. Check it out. And if you like this episode, check out more on WatchYourRassilon.com. You can also find our podcast, our Patreon, our Blue Sky, and more at Linktree/Watch-A-Thon. I also want to give a special shout out to Vincent E.L. for providing us with our amazing theme song.
Thank you, Vince.
Check out more of their music at vincentel.bandcamp.com. And tune in next time when we talk about Gridlock with returning guests Christine Cherry and Steve Conway.
Oh, no way. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's a good lineup, folks.
It's too bad that the monsters in it do not exist.
Ooh, we can wear our Macra shirts.
We can. We should wear our Macra shirts.
We should wear our Macra shirts.
But until next time, keep calm and wrestle on.
Goodbye, and I love you in a platonic and parasocial way.
All the world's a podcast, and we're just the hosts.
Whoa, Nelly. I know for a fact you've got a wife in the country.
But Martha, this is town.
Come on, we can have a good flirt later.
Is that a promise, Doctor?
Oh, 57 academics just punched the air.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.